Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome back to the shop. So today I'm headed over to Mason, Michigan to the U-Pull in Save. They are running a deal where I can pull any engine I want complete for 50% off. So with core and tax and everything, it should come out to be 150 bucks roughly. I'll show you the final number when I get the receipt. So I'm gonna go over there, see if there's something I can find. I scoured their website last night for about an hour, kind of weeding through some of the vehicles, trying to find the right one, because some are some of the vehicles I was looking at, for example, had a V6 in them, that type of thing. So that way, I don't go to that road and waste my time looking for what I'm looking for. Actually, one of the vehicles. Anyway, we'll get into what I'm looking for here in just a minute when I get there. So anyway, guys, let me get over there. Let me pay my, I think it's $1 to get in, and then see if I can find what I'm looking for. Anyway, see you in a few minutes. Guys, I don't know what the hell happened here, but holy shit. This vehicle got freaking crushed. Damn. Well, guys, what you were looking at here is a very rusty, crusty 2500. And they always say if it rolls over, if it spins, it wins. Well, this vehicle spins and wins. It is a 5.3 aluminum block. You can see right here, she is nice and clean in that surface right there. If it was a cast block, that area is all either covered in oil or rusty. Let me show you over here. Oh, not that one. We'll come over to this one here. It may be hard to see, but see down in this area right there, how it's all rusty? That's a cast block. Now, down there is a 6-liter, but since it is almost super hard to find an aluminum block, and I'm only going to be building in the neighborhood of 600 horsepower, I think we're going to go with this aluminum block 5.3. I'm going to get a different throttle body, get the manual throttle body, so I'll have to swap that out. I pulled one plug. Whoops, I dropped it now somewhere. You can see, plug out of this engine. Oh, come on, focus. Focus. Plug out of this engine. It isn't terrible. Try to get it to focus here. It's fairly clean, so let the games begin. I'll do some check-in points with you guys as I rip the whole front end off this thing so I can get access to it. Alright guys, something like these come in awesome for cutting off shit like transmission coolers, power steering coolers, AC lines, all that shit. Nice to have. Alright guys, it is 12:07. I've probably been working on this for about an hour and a half now. Got the whole front end off of this thing. So now, 3 bolts on either side, and here for the motor mounts, exhaust is already cut, and I need to do the transmission, or I'm sorry, the bell housing bolts. And then I think we'll be able to pull this thing out, or try. Well guys, I didn't take a lot of video. It was getting late. It was like, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Place closes at 4. young kid and his wife were here. I said, hey, I'll make it worth your while. You help me finish this thing off. Gave him 50 bucks. And you can notice here, it's empty. We had exhaust manifold hanging up. Forgot to unhook an O2 wire, so cut it. You know, it was hanging up from coming out. We did miss a bolt at the top of the engine. There actually is 8 bolts on the stupid thing. We found 7, missed the one. Lucky we didn't, you know, damage anything. But we got a complete engine, all aluminum, 5.3 liter. Not too damn bad for $194. I gave the kid 50 bucks for helping me out. It was the best 50 bucks I ever spent. So for $198, guys, I have a complete 5.3 aluminum engine. So I'm only looking to make, you know, 600, 700 horsepower. I think that aluminum engine will just do that and be perfect. Might not even need that much horsepower. So there we go, a nice little weight savings on the front of the car. I'll show you a pic here at the back of the truck in a second. And when we get it home, you know, we'll leave it in the back of the truck for the night. I'm wiped out and tired. And I actually have to work. It is Sunday. And I actually have to work a little bit yet today before tomorrow. So anyway, guys, when I get home, I'll show you this engine. So the other thing, guys, I think this is non-DOD as well. So the DOD setup, there's 8 lifters that are different, and those 8 lifters, you know, improve the fuel economy. So I think this is a non-DOD engine, which means I don't have to do anything special to this engine. So I believe that is the case. So anyway, I'll double check that. All right, guys, so driving home, I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. Intake manifolds in the back of the truck. So I was able to get the whole engine. I didn't care about the wiring harness, and you'll see why in an upcoming video. But you know, there's no way I could have gotten the gantry over by myself. There was 0 steering on that gantry. Between me, the young kid, I do think it was Sean, his wife, trying to maneuver that thing over there was a cluster. You know, helping me manhandle that engine, getting it out. You know, there's just no way I'd have done it by myself. So, given enough time, I probably could have, but you know, I got there at 10 a.m. Basically, I just left at 4 p.m. So I spent the entire day, you know, looking between a couple engines. I don't think I started till like 10:30, 10:40, somewhere in that area. It took me a little over an hour to get the whole front end stripped off, the fenders, the whole front grille, the bumper, and all that. Somebody else had already cut the exhaust, so that kind of helped me out. And the reason they cut it is for the cats, so they kind of took that part of it out. There was a couple of broken studs on the exhaust side, of course, you know, so that actually helped me out too. So I do have, I think, 3 broken studs, 1 on one head, 2 on the other. But otherwise, you know, like I said, the engine barred over really nice. No holes in the side of the block. That was one of my, you know, my big fears. It was hard to tell, but there were no holes in the block. It barred over nice and smooth. So they say if it spins, it wins, right? So, you know, at some point I will take that thing apart and take a look at it, see what all I got, what kind of shape it's in. You know, if I'm just going to clean it up, you know, gap the rings and do some stuff. You know, if I'm going to put all new bearings in and, you know, obviously seal it up so it doesn't leak, because she is definitely oily. But you know what? I got a great platform to start with. So I'm really, I'll be shocked with you guys, you know, that engine was still there, being an all aluminum 5.3. And I'll show you how I did my research to, you know, to kind of narrow down my scope of engines, you know, to pick this one, because there was actually still a 6 liter there too, you know, in a Suburban. and everything else was 5.3s or 4.8s, or some, I think, were 4.3s. But I'll pull up the computer, kind of show you what I'm talking about, how I clicked on the website and kind of narrowed mine down. So anyway, guys, I am stopping and getting something to drink. I am dying of thirst. My hands started cramping up there towards the end. So I definitely was getting a little dehydrated. So I really want to, you know, like I said, give a shout out. I think it was Sean and his wife. I think it was Heather or Holly, for sticking around and really giving me a hand. That was huge. So, you know, it was 144 and change for the engine. If I'd have been able to do it all by myself, I told him I'd give him 40 bucks if he stuck around to help. I gave him 50. It was definitely worth the extra, you know, 10 to 50 bucks to do it. At least in my mind it was. So anyway, guys, when we get home, I'll, you know, kind of show you a little video of what I got, and then I'll take a video also of how I kind of narrowed down my choices of engines. And actually, I only used, I think I only used like 15, 13, 18, 10 millimeter for the most part. I don't think I used 12 at all. I'm trying to remember, but you know, between some deep wells and some wrenches and a few things, I think that's all I think I used. And a pry bar. Definitely a big ass pry bar. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna stop get some little gas and a really cold drink. Alright guys, so here's what I was kind of talking about. You can see I've selected 2005 Chevy 1500 engine assembly. Pontiac, Michigan is the pick-a-pull. You can see you basically have 4.3, 4.8, 5.3, and 6 liter for choices. But when you select one of these, it does not actually, it will give you all the related vehicles, not just the one that you're looking for. So I'll just pick, for example, 5.3 here. And when we scroll down, you can see you have a bunch of choices. So what I'll do is I'll just pick on this first one right here. Find my mouse. And, you know, they'll show the vehicle condition, maybe the mileage. You can see there's the mileage there, the VIN number. And then as you scroll down, you can start to see now all the specs of this vehicle. And as we scroll down a little bit more, you can see the rear end ratio. You can see this one is actually, remember I selected 5.3, a 4.8. So what you can do is a little research before you go to the yard, if your pick-a-pull has something like this, to be able to find and do a little legwork, you know, to try to figure out what engine you actually want, what's in that vehicle. Just to make it a little easier. And that's what I did. So I did a little legwork, looked up a bunch of different vehicles, and then that's how I was able to find that 5.3 aluminum. All right, guys, so being a newbie and the couple issues that we had and why it took me so long to get this stupid thing out is I didn't realize there were 8 bolts in this thing. So there's, you know, one down here, one here, and then there's 2 on the opposite side, and there's one there, another one over there, one there, one here. So you can see there's bolts kind of all over the place on this thing. And these up here were kind of hard to get to because the exhaust manifolds being in the way, and I couldn't get to them with like a deep well socket because the seam, the body seam was right in this area. So I could get the socket on, but I couldn't get like the swivel on or the extension to, you know, spin the bolt out. Now, what I would have done differently, thinking back differently about it, is I would have taken a hammer and smashed that seam up, and then I could get, you know, my socket and my extension and my swivel on there, and I could have backed those out real easy. The same with that other side over there. Instead, what I did is I took the exhaust manifolds off, got a 15 miller wrench, and then, you know, got them out that way. Kind of a pain in the butt. So hindsight, I would have smashed them up, like I said, that seam, got a socket in there and made that a whole lot easier. I kind of missed this one. That one I shouldn't have missed, but I ended up pulling the intake manifold and that one there. You know, I thought was just a stud, not actually for the transmission, so dummy me. Anyway, kind of learned a little bit about unbolting that, and we thought the torque converter was hanging up, and it wasn't. We actually left the O2 sensor connected and didn't, you know, cut it or get it out of the way. So actually it was hanging up the engine, and then the other side, I didn't realize the starter was hanging up on the other motor mount too. So once we got, you know, we ended up taking the exhaust manifold off on this side as well, so I could get that one bolt, but then also cutting the O2 sensor, and then, you know, the engine came right out. So just a few things that I learned, you know, kind of for the next time, I'll be able to pull this out a whole lot faster. Well guys, me not knowing a damn thing about LS's, so to get the flywheel bolts off so I can remove the torque converter, I removed the starter, figured that out, removed that little plastic splash shield with a 10mm, and now I can access the flywheel bolts right here real quick and easy. So that's kind of nice. So like I said, I learned kind of a few things from pulling my first LS engine from the junkyard. I would tell you this, the gantry was a piece of crap. It had zero steering, really couldn't move it at all. You know, it was terrible. So that thing was a cluster on its own. But you know, the engine, like I said, I learned a lot. So it'll be, the engine itself will come out a whole lot faster next time, and I'll definitely look for a better gantry or go to a different yard. You know, that it's all paved and not dirt and mud and everything else as well. So the one in Mason, Michigan was kind of a, you know, it was a decent yard, but it was muddy and a mess. The one up in Pontiac, you pull up there, Pontiac, Michigan, like I said, it's all paved. It's a lot, you know, better condition. It's just further away. So I'll go there next time to pull an engine. I'm gonna go check out their gantries actually this weekend. I'm not gonna pull another engine, but you'll see in an upcoming video what I am gonna go get. So we'll talk about that later.